Okay, I see people joining in. We'll wait for another minute and then we can start. Hello, everyone. So if you can see the screen and hear me well, can someone please send a message in the chat box? Oh, great. Okay. I think we can start. All right. So hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening to everyone. I hope everyone is doing great and you all have had a fantastic week so far. I would like to welcome you all and thank you for taking out time and showing up for this webinar session. I will quickly do a short introduction about myself, about our speaker and our company I2E Consulting. And then we will start with the presentation. There is also a quick demo. And in the end, we'll be taking all your questions. Okay. So this is not a single event though. This is going to be a series of talks from our techies at I2E. It is going to be a series of talks where the tech leads from I2E Consulting will be talking about the challenges that are faced by a lot of our clients and how are we resolving them with effective solutions. So that's how we've named it the I2E Tech Talk. Well, my name is Vivek Kadam. I have been with I2E Consulting for more than 6 years now. I started off my career years ago in customer support, and then over the years, I moved to sales. I look after the sales at I2E Consulting, and I also act as the account manager for most of our clients. On the panel, we have with us today our speaker, Mr. Himanshu Arora. Himanshu is a project online specialist and lead at I2E Consulting. Himanshu's domain expertise include Project Online, Microsoft PPM technologies, enterprise resource management, and PMOs. He has helped global organizations to develop the PPM practice and has led many Project Online implementations successfully. Himanshu, can you please change the slide?
Sure, Vivek.
Well, about our company, I2E Consulting, we are a software services providing company founded in the year 2008 in the US. We have office in the US and in India. We also have some presence in the UK as well. Our company, I2E Consulting, provides business consulting and technology solutions to large pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, Merck, Novartis. And our major services, they revolve around project and portfolio management. Not only do we have experience in building PPM applications and PPM tools, we also help organizations in setting up their entire PPM practice. Other services are business intelligence and data analytics, cloud migration, and staff augmentation, where we provide resources to our customers. We are partners with Microsoft. We are a Microsoft Gold partner. We are partners with AWS, Automation Anywhere, and Planisware. All our resources are certified professionals, including me. We have huge experience in building project management applications. Our applications have millions of download across all the platforms, across all the countries, and we have a lot of happy customers. We have also tried our hands in all the data visualization tools, be it Power BI, Spotfire, Tableau, one pager, you name it, and we have the experience in that tool. We've also been working on some latest technologies like augmented reality, conversational AI, machine learning, blockchain, etc. So yeah, that's about I2E Consulting. As you all know, today's topic is smart project management with Project Online and Power BI. Without any further delay, I would request Himanshu to please continue and start with the session. So over to you, Himanshu.
Thanks, Vivek, for the introduction of the company and ourselves. Thanks to all the attendees for showing up. I mean, very warm welcome to all the attendees. So let's spend 2 minutes here to understand what we are going to cover today. So we'll start with an overview of what is Project Online in Power BI. And after that, we'll be looking at how we can extend the reporting capabilities in Project Online using Power BI. And then we'll jump to the demo where I'll be showing you how you can connect the Project Online data source with Power BI to create meaningful dashboards. We'll also be sharing some sample reports and dashboards with you and try to give you an overview of how the project data can be visualized in different through different visuals using Power BI. So let's start with an overview of Project Online. So Microsoft Project Online is an end-to-end project management solution. It helps organizations to gain visibility and control to enhance their decision making. It also improves the alignment of project initiatives with the business strategy. It maximizes the resource utilization as well as measures and improves the operational efficiency of the organization. And I would also like to bring to your notice that this application, Microsoft Project Online, it is built on top of Microsoft SharePoint, which is a collaborative platform, as we all know. So it brings together the powerful business collaboration capabilities or services with the structured execution capabilities of Project Online to provide flexible work management capabilities. So Microsoft Project Online is offers different capabilities and functionalities, which helps the organizations to be more focused on the demand management pieces. There are a lot of times that we have seen that there are competing demands, and everybody wants to do more with the less. So how we can manage the project demands, how we can select the right portfolio of projects, which are again aligned with the project goals or the organization goals under the cost and resource constraints. And once the project selection happens and we are good with our portfolio project that we wanted to execute, then the system provides us the capabilities to create accurate project plans. Once the planning has been done, we move to the execution. The system has those capabilities that helps in the execution of projects. This is a collaborative platform, so teams can work together in a collaborative manner. They can contribute onto the project activities as well as to the different documentations and different artifacts, project artifacts that has been stored in the project workspaces. The system also has some built-in reports and capabilities where different teams, like generally what happens in the project organization, there are different layers of people. At the top we have senior management, then we have middle management, and then we have got team members. So everyone has their own needs. Senior management wants to see what is happening around the organization and in their portfolio. Middle management wants to manage their projects well, and team members wants to collaboratively work on the projects. They want to spend less time updating their activities. If they come across any issues, they should be able to log those issues. If they come across, identify any risks, so they should be able to log those risks and mitigate those risks and track those risks. So these are the high-level capabilities which is there in the Microsoft Project Online, and any organization which wants to implement this solution, they're always looking for such kind of best-in-class project management solution. Now we'll do the double click and we'll discuss a little in detail of all these features. So when we implement Microsoft Project Online, it not only, the first and foremost thing that it does is it centralizes the project data. Other than that, it also standardizes the processes and it creates a governance framework. I mean, in the absence of any such tool, what happens, like, different people have different way of managing their projects. They follow different templates. They can create different templates. I mean, the project management sometimes goes haywire. So once we have Project Online in place, we can create stage gate workflows which ensures that a project follows a defined life cycle, and project cannot move from one stage to another unless that stage it has been approved. So, for example, like an IT project or a software development kind of project, it has it has certain stages, and unless the requirement gathering has been completed, we cannot move to the design phase. So these stage gate workflows helps in ensuring that the project follows a defined life cycle. We can also create custom templates for project schedules, which actually helps the new project managers and the existing project managers to use a template which is kind of a successful project sometime, and we can create some template out of it, and that template we can reuse, and that can be modified as per the project scale and complexity by the project managers. We have the capability in the system where we can create such templates. The system has also got some built-in views and reports. Again, that brings in the standardization. Team members or a normal user cannot change those templates. They will always have to request the application administrator to configure those templates. This makes easier for the senior management also to view at the project portfolio or to look at the reports in a standard way. As we've been talking earlier also, that many a times there are a lot of competing demands, and we only have to select those projects which are aligned with the organization goals under cost and source constraints, because we always wanted to do more with the less. So the system has the capability wherein we can create business cases. We can have different set of fields which can help us in evaluating those proposals. For example, we can include details like what kind of benefits this particular proposal is going to provide. What are the estimated costs for it? How it is aligned with the organization goals. All such demands can be evaluated and validated by the senior management, and those demands which have been selected will be executed for the as projects. If we go one step back, sometimes what happens, like there's a need of there are certain organizations that encourages ideation. They want their teams to submit the ideas, so that team can collaborate on those ideas. They can ask questions, they can rate ideas, and those ideas, once the screening has been done, those ideas will be taken forward with the as a project proposal. So once the project has been selected for execution, the next thing is that once we're in the planning stage, we'll have to create accurate project plans. The system has a powerful scheduling engine which helps in creating the project plans, accurate project plans. We can map dependencies, we can enter task durations there with the activity, and we can also assign resources to the activity so that it gives a realistic project plan. So as we've been speaking earlier, the system has the capability to create templates. For example, an IT project will follow a different life cycle, and it has got a different schedule. Similarly, an HR project will have a different schedule or a project plan. So when a project starts, people can, or the project managers can select a particular project type. When they select a particular project type, so at that time, a predefined list of activities is available to them, which they can modify or elaborate again based on what is the scope of the project, what is the complexity of the project. They can enter task durations, they can map dependencies, they can link activities. So once this has been done, the scheduling engine gives a critical path. It automatically creates a critical path, which is sometimes difficult if we use let's say Excel for the project planning. So that is why Microsoft Project has those, the capabilities for creating these schedules using the templates. Now moving on to the next slide. So once we have the project plan ready, I mean, once we have defined what all activities that needs to be done, we have entered the duration, now we have a timeline with us. The next thing is that we need to, assign people to those activities. These activities, I mean, before assigning any resource to an activity, we need to make sure that going forward, there should not be any bottlenecks. So the system has the capability where we can identify the availability and the capacity of the resources. And, before doing the project staffing, we can identify what all resources we have. We can also filter on the skills. We can capture those metadata for resources, what skills they're having, what roles they're having. And while building the project team, we can make use of the resource mapping capabilities in the project online system. We can also tag costs with the resources. As we all know, there are 4 M's like man, machine, money, and material. So all those resources can be configured into the project online. And when we assign cost to any resource, and those resources will be assigned to an activity, so automatically it gives a cost to the activity, which rolls up the work package level, subsequently to the project level and to the portfolio level. Once the planning has been done in terms of schedule, in terms of resources, then the next thing before we start execution is that we need to baseline our project so that during the execution, we can compare the planned versus the actual values. So this is how the planning is done in Microsoft Project Online. So during the execution phase, and since it's a collaborative platform, just excuse me for a second, please. Yes. So since it is a collaborative platform and teams are empowered to update their work, I mean, in the absence of any such application collaborative platform, what happens like when project managers create a project plan and he has done the planning, he has to sit with the team to get the updates from them. And he has to manually enter those updates into the system. So with Project Online, team members will get those activities in their bucket from different projects. They can update those activities from their My Task page itself, and then they can submit those activities for the project manager's approval. Because project manager has the accountability with the project, and he has to ensure that whatever updates which the teams are doing, it should not go and directly hit my project plan. So there's a governance workflow or a framework which is inbuilt into the system that whenever a team member submits their updates, it has to go through an approval process by the project manager. And once the project manager is okay with the updates, then he can accept those updates into the project plan and further publishes it for the other stakeholders to see the updates. So this is how it is done. So as I said, there's a page where the team's members can see all the activities which have been coming from different projects. They can update their activities from the system and submit them to the project manager's approval. They can also propose changes here, like if they find there's a new activity that needs to be done, so they can add that activity. Or if they find that there's there should be some change in terms of effort or timeline, so they can propose those changes. If the project managers feels like the changes which the team members is proposing is good enough, they can accept those changes. And it also creates an audit history. So whatever to and fro communication which is happening between the project manager or the team member on a specific activity, that is stored in the system, and anytime the teams can refer, like when it was submitted, when it was approved and all those things. So once the updates come to the project manager, so before approving the updates, they can preview uh, like what will happen if I'll accept these updates. So there's a feature in the Microsoft Project Online where the project managers can actually, before approving the updates, they can go and see what was the previous update and what will the new update if I'll accept those changes. So because project manager as a whole knows the entire picture of the project, team members generally, they have, a limited vision. They're only concerned about their activities, their assignments. So they do not see, they cannot foresee the impact. So the impact can be visualized by the, can be seen by the project manager before, updating those things. So the team, the Project Online has got those capabilities. And the system has some inbuilt, reports, views, where, project managers as well as the senior management, they can see what is going on in the project and as a program or portfolio as a whole. So there are some built-in reports, and we can also leverage Power BI. We can make use of Power BI to create some reports, because sometimes what happens, like there are visualizations which are not in line with what the business is looking for. So if they want to have some custom views, some eye-catchy or jazzy views, so for that, Power BI can be used. This is again another snapshot where you can see there are different projects in different portfolios. And when a senior management looks at this their portfolio, they can easily identify the bottlenecks. They can see the red flags where they need to focus more. So they can, they can click on that project and drill down to the project level and see from where these, delays are happening and what is causing the delay, and they can take the corrective action. So this was on the project execution part, like the teams are, updating their activities, project managers is accepting those updates. Those updates are now, pushing the data into the reports. When we create a project in Project Online, we also get a project workspace, which is specific to that particular project. Team members can collaborate on different project artifacts. There are a lot of documents that goes in while we do a project. Sometimes we have to create a proposal. Sometimes we have to create presentations, reports. So all that gets stored in the project workspace. Team can collaborate on that. If they identify any issue, if they identify any risk, they can log those issues and risk into the system and create a strategy around it, like how we can prioritize or which issues needs to be prioritized, or what are the mitigation plans for any risk. So all the risk management capabilities and the issue management capabilities are inbuilt into the system, and the forms or the fields which are there, they're as per the PPM guidelines or the yes, they are as per the PMI guidelines. So this is what I was talking about. This was a workspace. Let's say this is a project called Store Rebranding, and this is the project workspace for that project. Team members can, ask questions, collaborate on the project. They can have discussions, polls. Again, all these capabilities are inherited from SharePoint. So this is a SharePoint site specific for the for a particular project, and we can also, customize the site to create some more lists and libraries. For example, for any IT project, there's a need for bug tracker. So we can leverage default SharePoint list to create a bug tracker. I mean, everything is inside the application. They do not need to use any Excel or any other tool for, creating those separate list records. So as I said, there are some, built-in reports, and we can also leverage Power BI for creating our reports and dashboards. The benefit of using Power BI here is because Power BI is a data visualization tool, and it has got so many connectors. We can pull in data from different data sources and create reports where management wants to see what is the physical progress versus the financial progress. And sometimes what happens that financials are being kept in a different system altogether. So we can integrate financial system and the project management system and show all these data sets or different entities in the Power BI report. So let's start with an overview of project, Power BI. So Power BI is a data visualization tool. It has got more than 200 plus connectors. It can pull data from Excel spreadsheets. It can pull data from SAP. It can pull data from Postgres databases. I mean, there are 200 plus connectors, and creating a connection with different these data is very easy in using Power BI. And the good part is we can also share these reports once they have been created to other project stakeholders. So there are three components to Power BI. One is the desktop client, which is actually used by the report authors who actually create reports, and the other platform is the Power BI service. Actually, this is an application that runs on cloud. This is a Power BI service. So whenever we have created a report, we have to publish that report to the Power BI service, and from there we can share that report with other project stakeholders. And there's third component also with Power BI, which is the an application which is available for all the operating systems, for Windows, for iOS and Android. We can also visualize those dashboards using our mobile app, and we can also annotate, and we can also collaborate using the mobile devices. Okay. Now, if Project Online is good enough, and it has got the capabilities for reporting, we can create views, we can create reports in Project Online. Why there's a need to create, or why there's a need to extend the report capabilities of Project Online using Power BI? So there are few pointers here. I mean, if you look at the screen, so Microsoft has got visuals, but they are limited. They do not offer maps, or they don't offer other visualizations or data cards, something like that. If you want to visualize our data in different maps or data cards, so for those things, we need to use Microsoft Power BI or any other tool we can also use. Most of the reports which are built into Project Web Application, they are very tabular in nature. I mean, they do not offer any visualization there. I mean, you are looking at the data in a tabular format. At max, what we can create there is the traffic light indicators that as per the project KPIs, and we can see how our project health is, like how they're performing in terms of cost, how they're performing in terms of work, and how they're performing in terms of the schedule. And sometimes what happens, we need to, as we have spoken earlier, that we need to get data from different data sources, and we want to create a visual there. So for that, we can use Power BI. And there's always a need, because once we have all the data into a Project Online application or any such application, the teams actually spend a lot of time in creating those presentations that they circulate in these stakeholders. But here with Power BI, creating those PowerPoint presentations are very easy. It is just a one-click thing that we can do. So these are the some pointers. That is why we should look for Power BI to create some meaningful dashboards. So the process here is, as we first need to create that report into using Power BI desktop, publish that report to Power BI service, and to share, then we can share the report or the content with other users. For sharing the content, there's a prerequisite that we should not be using the free Power BI license. For that, a Power BI Pro license is required. So to work with Project Online dataset, what all we need a domain user account, and it should also be, you know, uh, uh, part of the Project Online application, and to share those reports and to create, schedule refresh capability and to configure that, you would need a Power BI Pro license and the content on which we are actually going to work. So here I've tried to capture the things that we would be needing. So since PWA or Project Web Application Project Online is a cloud-based application, we are not exposed to the databases. We can only access these databases, by using OData service. Through that only we can access the data, Project Online data. And we would also be needing Power BI service so that we can publish our reports to the platform. From there, we can share those reports to other users. So with that, I mean, let me stop presenting the screen and switch to the project on Power BI desktop to show you how we can connect Project Online data source uh, with Power BI, and let me show you that. Yeah, I believe my screen is visible to everyone. So now I'm in the Power BI desktop client. So what we can do here, I mean, if you look at the get data option here, so what you'll see there are, as I've been telling you earlier, we can connect to multiple data sources. So for this webinar, for the purpose of this demo, what I'll be doing here, I'll be connecting two data sources here. One, I've created one Excel spreadsheet, and there I've captured some, data related to POs. So I mean, with every project, there should be a PO, there should be some PO value, there should be some PO date, and there's project entities are there in Project Online. So what I'll be doing here, I'll be using Excel as a data source and Project Online as a data source, and I'll try to show you how we can create something meaningful out of it. So let's first start with the OData feed that would be needing to connect with our Project Online data set. So if I'll click on others, you'll see there's an option for OData feed here. Okay. So when I click on it, and I click on connect, it'll ask me for the URL. So for the URL, what I'll be doing, I'll be using my tenant. So I'm just copying the tenant URL. Allow me a second, please. Yeah. Now, the OData feed URL, if you remember in the presentation, what I need to do, I need to append underscore API / project data and hit OK. So now you can see different entities, the data sets which are available, which are exposed using the OData services. We have all the data sets here. So for the purpose of this demo, I'll be selecting projects, project baseline. So whenever we create a baseline, so all this data is copied to the baseline as well. So I'll be selecting these two data sources here, and I'll click on load. And the third data set which I'm going to use is the Excel spreadsheet. So same way you can also connect uh, your other data sources also. I mean, for the purpose of this demo, I'm using Excel. It could be some data in Oracle. It could be some data in some other database. So I'm selecting this data which is in this sheet, and you can see I have project code, PO value, PO number, and PO date there. I'll also load this data in my uh, Power BI client. So this is how we connect with different data sources. Now the next thing is, I mean, we need to have some sort of relationship between these data sets. It could be unrelated data. It could be related data. If there's a relationship between these two data sources, so Power BI has the capability to identify those relationships automatically and creates a relation automatically. But in case if somehow that doesn't happen, we can go ahead and create that relationship. If I click on manage relationships, here we can see there are some data sets which we have already pulled the data. We are pulling the data from, and we can see what all relationships which are already available in the database. So if you're okay with that, then it's good. Otherwise, you can go ahead and create a new relationship from here. Let's say if I want to have a relationship between the project database and the PO database. So we have this, when I want to, create a relationship on the project code. So I'll select project code here also and project code here also. Once the selection has been done, I'll hit OK. So what it will create that relationship, and I can hit close for me. So let's go back to our report page. So if I click on, there are three different tabs here, or you can see what is the fields. So whatever fields which are available in our data set that can be accessed from here, we just need to drag and drop these fields to this canvas, and we can make use of different visuals which are available. For example, let's say if I want to show the total number of, if I want to create a management dashboard at a very high level and want to show the total number of projects which are there in the organization. So what I can do, I can select this, let's say this, and search for that field. It's a project name. And So currently it is giving me the names of all the projects which are there in my instance. So what I need to show the numbers here, so I can select this visual called card. If I click on it, it is showing me the the name of the first project. What I can do, I can click here, and instead of showing the name of the first project, I can show the count of distinct projects. So when I hit OK, so this is giving me that there are 12 projects which is there in the my project online application. So all those 12 projects are being shown here. In addition to that, let's say if I want to also, because project online is a data repository that store all the project metadata and anything related to project artifacts. So if I want to show the project cost here, so I can also do that. So for that, what I need to do, I need to select the project cost field. And I can show project cost here also. And again, I can create a data card for that. So this is the total project cost for the entire portfolio. Similarly, we can create a table here for all these 12 projects. We can also have filters. We can have different other different visualizations. So what I've done here, I mean, the same way we can also pull in, if you want to drill down to the task level, or if you also want to see resources, data pertaining to resources, we can create a connection with our data source and select the applicable tables there. So this is how it is done. So what I've done here is I've created, using this data only, I've created a sample dashboard for you. I'll also try to show you how it works actually. So what I've done here, I mean, if you see, so these are the project counts which I'm showing here. This is the project cost. This is the total PO value which is coming from the Excel spreadsheet. It is not coming from the project online. So we have integrated two different data sources. Now, what has been shown here, projects by project value. Every project in project online has the same code which is there in the Excel spreadsheet. So because we have that relationship here, so I can see what is the PO value for each project. And here I've created one donut chart because in my project online data set, we also have a field called technology. That's a custom field that we have created in our environment. So I can see like how many projects are there in each are tagged with each technology. And we can also have different type of projects in project online. We can create different project types. We can configure project type like IT projects or HR project or construction project or R&D project. So all those project types we can create. So what happens whenever we create a project type, a project with a project type, so the name of the project type is tagged with that project. So I can see how many projects are in different project types, tagged with different project types. And these are those 12 projects. Their project names are coming. You also have got a field called project state, whether it is active, in progress, on hold or completed. This is the project code. This is the PO number, which is coming from our Excel sheet. PO value and PO date. These three fields are coming from our Excel sheet. And other than these three, the rest of the fields are coming from project online. So the same way we can also integrate this with, any other application, like for if we have got our data in SAP, so we can also integrate SAP with project online and, using Power BI as a data source. And we can create something like what is the physical progress, what is financial progress. So those sort of dashboards we can create. And we have got filters also. Let's say I want to, see all the projects which are active. So when I hit active, so all those projects will be shown here. There are 4 projects, and these are those 4 projects. If I want to see, show me the completed projects. So if I'll hit completed, so this is one project which is completed. Who is the owner? what is the start date, what was the finish date, what is the PO date, PO value, those things will come. So we can do slicing and dicing using Power BI. And moreover, these visuals also acts as filters. Let's say if I want to projects, there are 3 projects which are tagged with web development technology. If I'll click on these 3 here, so this is giving me those 3 projects which are tagged with web development technology. So, I mean, this is how you can, pull in data sources from, I'm pulling data from different data sources, create something meaningful as per the business needs. And once you are okay with the report which you have created, what's the next thing? That's the publish. So you can, there's a button called publisher. When you click on publish, so it will ask me, because I've done some changes here, so I'll click on save. And there are different workspaces available in my Power BI service. We can create different workspaces. So this is my workspace where I want to publish this report. I'll select my workspace and click on select. And this actually start, publishing, because we already had a data set there, because I already done the publish. So I'll click on replace. And it's done. Now, if I want to, share this report with other team members or other project stakeholders, what I can do, either I can click here, it will take me directly to my project workspace, or I already have this report opened in my browser. So what I'll do, just excuse me for a second so that I can, share my browser with you. Hope my screen is visible to everyone. So if I'll go to my workspace, and there are multiple reports which I worked on, and I've published those reports to my workspace. If I select that report name was webinar. If I click this report here, so the same report others can see, if they do not have desktop client, because generally Power BI desktop client is used to author reports. So they can see, the report on the web. I can also make it full screen, and the same capabilities there in desktop client. I can also do the slicing, dicing, everything from the Power BI service also. Other than that, we can also share these reports. So to share these reports, what I need to do, I need to go to my report here, click on share. Click manage permissions. I can give access to other stakeholders. Add a user. And if I want that this user can further share this report, I can keep this checked. Otherwise, I can uncheck this one. This also sends an email notification to the user with whom I'm sharing the report, and we can grant access. And they can also make use of the data set for to customize the report further. Now, coming back to the report. I mean, as we've been talking, like project managers and other people, they'll have to spend a lot of time in creating, slide decks for the project status, weekly status reports, or steerco meetings. So here it is very to in Excel also to analyze it further. We can to a PowerPoint. A snapshot of the same report will be exported to PowerPoint, and we can also convert this to a PDF. If I click on PowerPoint, then the conversion start happening. If there are multiple pages, choose which page to put. But let's say I want to only export this current page. So let's check this export. It will take convert this report snapshot in an PowerPoint format. Meanwhile, we also have some other reports, sample reports, which can give you an insight like what all we can do with the Project Online data using Power BI. So meanwhile it happens, let me take you there. So this has happened. Let me open this one and show you how it looks like. Yeah, just give me a second. Yeah. So I've exported this report to this PowerPoint as a PowerPoint presentation. It is a snapshot of that report, and you can share this report with the people who do not have access to Power BI service. I guess I was on mute by mistake for some time. Okay. So let me show you some other sample reports and dashboards. Yeah. I hope everyone can see my screen. So this is one sample where you can see, again there's a total project count which is showing on the portfolio dashboard. What's the cost of the portfolio? I mean, that is again rolling up from different projects to the portfolio at a portfolio level. And during execution, what happens sometimes that we tend to uh, 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 the projects tend to get delayed, and there are some implication in terms of effort and cost. So what all cost variances are there? We can see from here. What is the project work? What was the work variance? How many? Because as we are talking, like the project online solution has got risk registers and issue logs. So what all active risk count is there from my entire portfolio that we can see here? What is the active issue count that we can see here? And different projects by project type, and how many projects are in the different stages. We've been talking about the stage gate workflows. So how many projects are in the proposal stage, so that we can see the projects. If I click on it, I can see those 15 projects here. So this is one report. There's another type of visualization that we can have here. It's on the timeline. Like if I want to see how many projects we have started in the first quarter of 2019, I can see all those projects and their status, like who's the owner, how much is completed, what was the duration. If I can mouse over, I can see the other details as well. So this was one view. We also have one view for portfolio cost. So this is giving me like, okay, show me all those projects which have cost overruns in terms of 20% more than cost overruns from the baseline cost. So these are those projects. If I want to see, projects where the cost overrun is between 10 to 20%, I can click here. I can see those projects. I mean, there are 3 in number here.
Hi, Himanshu. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is for all the attendees. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A box.
Yeah.
We will be taking the questions in a short while. I already see a question here. Himanshu, would you like to answer that? There's one question. It says,
please.
PPT also allows us to filter values.
No, it's just a snapshot of the report. The interactivity is not there on the PPT.
Okay. All right. If you have any further questions, guys, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A box or in the chat. We'll be taking them. Do we have any more reports to show?
Yeah, I'll just walk them through with these sample reports. I mean, on different entities of the project. This is something which is based on resources, some heat map for resources. What is the availability? What is the capacity? It's a resource overview report. I mean, the idea is that we can create reports on project online data, as well as we can connect with other data sources, and we can create something which is more meaningful and that helps in decision making. Yeah, I mean, we can start with the questions if there are more questions.
Sure. Right, so everyone, the session is now open for questions. If you have any questions, please go ahead and post them in the Q&A box or the chat box. Okay, I see one question. Yeah, I have a question. Is this project online? Is mobile compatibility? Is it mobile compatible? Is what I guess the user wants to know.
I mean, the application is not mobile responsive. I mean, the entire screen will be scaled down to a low resolution, and I mean, you can work on it, but I mean, it is actually not mobile responsive. So if you want to have a mobile application, then we need to customize that. And we have done some customizations, related to mobility in our previous engagements. I mean, hope I've answered the question.
Okay, any further questions? I know we have almost used up all the time, but we can extend the session for a couple of minutes if there are more questions coming in. Also, this session is recorded and you all will be receiving an email with the recording link, and the recording will also be available on our website, i2econsulting.com. All right, so please go ahead and post your questions if you have them, and we'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay. We'll wait for another minute, and if there are no questions, then we'll be closing this session. So yeah, if you have any questions, please go ahead. Or else you will also be receiving emails from us. Like I said, you can subscribe to our newsletters. You will be given a lot of information from I2E Consulting about the latest projects that we're doing and the work that we are doing in the technology space. Also, follow us on LinkedIn, and we also have an Instagram page. All right. Well, okay, I see one question here. Any upcoming dedicated sessions for Power BI? Oh yes, like I said, this is an I2E Tech Talk. So there will soon be another sessions for actually the entire Power Platform. And we will definitely cover Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Apps. So yeah, like I said, subscribe to our newsletters and do follow us on LinkedIn. You will get all the updates of the upcoming sessions. All right. Okay, so I think we can close the session now. I would like to thank you once again for joining the session and giving us your valuable time. And like I said, the recording of the webinar will be available on our website. We will also be sending you an email with the recording link. Please remember that we host webinars and such sessions every month, sometimes even twice a month. Thank you once again for your time. Hope to see you in the next and the future events. So yeah, take care because the session may have come to an end, but COVID hasn't. So please wear your masks and stay safe. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone.